Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're featuring a very pretty watch from Seiko. Now this is part of the Presage range of watches, so they're the more kind of dress orientated watches rather than the dive models which we normally always feature. This one is called the Arita Porcelain Dial, part of their craftsmanship range of watches. And obviously, as the name would suggest, we have a very, very strikingly good looking porcelain dial on there. Porcelain dials just have a different look to everything else out there. They tend to always be very, very glossy. You can see they look like china, inside the watch, which is in essence what they are, I suppose. It just looks so pretty. So anyway, but before I get too far into this review, I've got to say a massive thank you to First Class Watches of Kenilworth. They've been superstars, really super friendly, really helpful. Strongly recommend going to the AD if you're in the Midlands area. If you're a little bit further afield, well, don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description below and at the bottom of the page now. All I ask is if you do contact them, please mention the channel. So anyway, let's talk sizes first. It's coming at just over 40mm. I was reading around about 40.3mm. The thickness of the watch was 12.8mm. And the lug-to-lug longest point across the watch is 49mm. And the bracelet size is 20mm. But just look at that dial. It is such a good looking dial. It harks back to a sort of like a bygone age of dress watches, really. I know I reviewed one about a year ago, and there's just something very, very cool about porcelain dials. A lot of reason why many companies don't make them anymore is they've got a very high kind of it's sort of like when you make them, I was once told, I think like only like 20% of ones made will ever be good enough to actually go into a watch. There's such a high wastage when it comes to these kind of dials when they hand fire them. So anyway, as you can see, we've got this kind of dish going on here. What's really cool, and you don't notice at first, I'm trying to get it in the right light, we actually have what look like hour markers printed into the porcelain around there. It is just such a fine detail, which is just so very nice. And the other thing is you have these hour marks on there which really do kind of, they really pop on that dial because they're so crisp. Obviously you have these beautiful blued hands on there, really nice. But down at the bottom here you have this kind of, yeah, I wasn't sure what this was at first. I was thinking, could it be a date indicator? But it's actually a 24-hour indicator, which kind of contradicts the whole thing with dress watch, I personally think. If I pull out the crown, you'll see what it actually is. So I've gone into hacking mode there, so time setting, sorry. Now, as you can see, at the minute, it's saying it's, just gone 2 o'clock. Now, obviously, that could be AM or PM. But when you read this down here, you know that it's PM because everything on this side, obviously, is PM. Prior to that, isn't. So if I spin this round now, if I go back round, you can see the small dial is now going into AM. So that would be 10 AM in the morning, as you can see here. And as we go past, you can now see, if I go all the way around to 10 PM in the evening, so 10 past 10 in the evening. So that's what that actual small subdial is for. Is it needed? No, probably not. But it's how they've done it on the dial there, I think does look good. Now, obviously, we've got the Seiko Presage automatic 3 days. Now, I'm not sure if, I would have probably just left all that and gone just for Seiko Presage and left out the 3 days and all that. But obviously, they're very proud of their new movement, which has about 2 hours extra more power than the previous one. So they can technically go ahead and call it a 3-day movement. I would love to test this and just actually see, but can't be bothered. So anyway, as we come past that, we have a sapphire crystal. It is double dome because you can get the magnification of the handset there, and it does have AR coating on the inside. Now we have a smooth bezel going on here because it obviously isn't a dive style watch. we have a nice looking case really. You have a nice rounded design to it. It's quite nice. You get a little bit of curvature on the end links there. And as we come around here, we just have a signed S for there. Obviously, this isn't a screw down crown. It's not a dive watch, but you do have 100 meters of water resistance there. So, you know, you're not got to worry about getting this one wet. You're perfectly okay. Now, on the back here, we have this, display case back. And underneath that, you can actually see the movement. And the movement on this one is a 6R 5H. Now, I've not come across the movement before. Probably could, obviously it's based on the 6R movement, but the 5H must just be this arrangement we have here. Now, you're talking a 24 joule movement, 72 hours of power reserve. I put this on the time graph and I think I was getting about +5. So perfectly respectable for what it is, no problem at all. It would be interesting to see what the power curve is across the whole 72 hours. It would be quite, maybe one day I'll have to do that, set up a time lapse on the actual time graph and see how it actually pans out. That would be quite an interesting one to do. I must also point out there is no loom on this watch. So past that, we come to this bracelet. The bracelet itself is, it's quite a nice sort of like affair from them. It's something a little bit different. It allows you to have these nice polished center links here and this nice polished bits going on here. Overall, it is quite sharply done. Even when I should have pointed out on here, you can see this nice beveled edge with the brushwork there and this polished section going on there. It is quite a nice dressy watch. I know some people would have probably preferred this to be about a 38mm size, but it's neither here nor there. Let me put it on my wrist so you got an idea how it looks. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing my Corum. I thought I'd go in sympathy with that kind of subdial going there. I'm wearing my limited edition Corum number 001 jumping hour watch, which is a little bit different and funky. So let's take that off. Bob is wearing the brand new, another new watch actually. This is the new Oris Acura Great Barrier Reef. I can't remember the rest of it, but it is a very, very pretty looking, very good looking dial. I think on that, it looks absolutely superb. My wrist size is 7¼ inches, equates to about 18.5 centimeters. So you get a decent amount of bracelet on that, possibly I'd say 8-inch, and there it is on my wrist. It is a very, very nice, good looking watch. Definitely being a Presage, this is more for wearing with a suit, blouse if you're a girly, It's definitely that kind of watch. It looks very, very classy. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of it. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, it's got a hard coating as well. So the case on this should be, the hard coating I think equates to around about 500 Vickers in hardness. So that'll keep the scratches down to a minimal. Anyway guys, all the best and stay safe out there.